Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris, reporting to you from the We the Patriots conference in Boise, Idaho, held over this past weekend. If you happened to catch the Vortex yesterday, we posted our talk to the crowd from Friday. Today, we'd like to do something that doesn't usually get reported, at least not very often, but to do that, we need to set the scene for you. There are quite a few of these types of conferences around the country on a pretty regular basis. They're almost always heavily attended by politically conservative Protestants, perhaps a leftover from the days of Jerry Falwell's moral majority of the 1980s. But regardless, there's no doubt that there is an extensive network, even an industry, of political conservatism grassroots events like this around the nation. Much of the time, the same themes are getting hammered over and over again, like they should, because while, yes, you are preaching to the choir, it's also true that the choir needs rehearsal every now and then. However, because oftentimes the speakers are not Catholic, but are still men and women of goodwill, the more heady philosophical problems with Protestant conservative politics, they don't ever really get addressed or explored that much. Even when they might, it's only ever in very cursory, generic Christianity terms, which at the end of the day is pretty useless. So when we come to events like this, that we're invited as speakers, it's a chance to drive home the message that generic Christianity, meaning Protestantism, will never be able to solve the cultural collapse because, frankly, the Protestant heresy caused it. Yeah, we know, so much for ecumenism, but we don't care. It's true. So to be certain, we had no illusions that some folks in the audience of about 300 would not exactly cotton to the message that only Catholicism has the intellectual firepower to fight against the collapse of the nation. We also had no illusions that some would probably get up and walk out, and true to form, they did. Now, little disclaimer, we have no way of knowing whether everyone who got up and left were leaving because of the points made in the talk. They might have had to go to the bathroom or make a phone call or whatever, but it's unlikely that every single one of them left for reasons other than the topics, especially since we heard that various people were riled up, as it was described to us. And for the record, the topics all pointed to the embrace of the sexual revolution by Protestant denominations over the past 60 to 70 years, starting with the Anglican acceptance of contraception at the infamous, notorious Lambeth Conference in 1930. So, as we went through the list of Protestant capitulations, one by one, folks started getting up and leaving, about 25 in all out of about the roughly 300. And for the record, our Lord's crowd all got up and left, so we're still underperforming. Only about 10% of our attendees left. And interestingly, while we don't have video of all the walk-away folks, almost every single one of them was a boomer woman. And given how the sexual revolution was marketed to women as freedom for women, women's liberation, fighting the patriarchy, it's a safe bet that now, looking back on their lives, many boomer women simply have a hard time facing the hard truths about being totally tricked, just like Eve was. But they were. The Marxists, like Satan, marketed their plan to women in an effort to destroy the family, and they succeeded wildly. After the talk, we started signing books for attendees, and it was interesting hearing the personal interactions from those who came up to the table. Every single person, and with rare exception, they were all Protestant, that we spoke to, admitted they had never thought of all of this in these terms before, which the bottom line is, Protestant heresy is what brought about the cultural collapse. The word culture comes from cult, which means religion. And if a civilization gets the religion wrong, then the culture collapses. And this civilization has gotten the religion wrong. And at this point, it's precisely that leaders in the Catholic Church are going to have to answer for much. They, those bishops, deprived not only Catholics of their birthright, they also deprived a culture, and this is the important point, willing to listen. They deprived them of the fullness of the truth as well. Talk about a sad commentary. The reason there's so much little knowledge of the faith among Catholics is that they have been infected with the Protestant heresy, and moreover, and most importantly, the bishops did nothing to inoculate them against it. In fact, in many cases, they actually promoted it. And to the point, they still do. Bottom line on all of this, there are always always people of goodwill who are willing to give the truth a hearing. Always. Absolutely always. We got into a few discussions with such people after the talk. They were inquisitive, clear-minded, grateful, and even got a book to learn more. Sure, if you hit people hard in the face with the truth, some walk away. But here's the point. Others will take that cold smack as a wake-up call and choose to learn, and they won't walk away. Now, as a special note, especially for those living in Southern California, here's a way to walk toward truth, not away from it. Church Militant has joined forces with other good Catholic outfits in sponsoring a peaceful prayer and procession on June 16th as reparation for the Los Angeles Dodgers' shameful decision to mock Catholics by honoring the blasphemous group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who really are drag queens impersonating nuns. If you can make this prayerful pilgrimage in person, please meet at the Cathedral of Our Lady, Queen of the Angels in LA at 4:30, where the procession will make its way from there to Dodger Stadium, where the drag queens are going to be celebrated as part of all that pride stuff. Everyone is encouraged to wear red to honor the Sacred Heart of Jesus, because June is the month of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. For more information, please go to churchmilitant.com/Dodgers. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.